Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, March 12th. So today we have the moon in her place of power in Cancer and energy all day. We definitely had a semi-rough emotional day yesterday, really kind of facing some darker parts within ourselves, really getting down to the bare necessities on whether or not we are going to settle and stay in the same old, or whether we are going to muster up the courage and the bravery that we need to have in order to make a break and actually move forward. Now, today's energy isn't going to be as heavy as yesterday's. We are kind of dealing with some positive aspects, some aha moments, a shift in our headspace, a shift in our heart space, but we do have to keep those fears, those doubts, those insecurities in check. There are 7 different aspects taking place here today, and 7 of them involve the moon. This is highly emotional, hypersensitive, definitely plucking on the heartstrings of our past, of our memories, of our home, of our family dynamics. We are definitely facing some ugly truths about the past, about the pain, about the trauma that we are currently standing in, that we are currently deciding whether or not we're going to let the past pain and trauma continue to paralyze us in a state of non-action, or whether or not we're going to use that to inspire us, to motivate us, to make a change, to do the work in order to align with a vision and a dream that makes our heart and soul happy. Right out of the gate, we have the moon squaring with Chiron. Again, this is not a good feeling. Chiron is the wounded healer. Yes, he shows us our wounds, but he also shows us the wisdom and the knowledge on how to heal them. The moon in Cancer is very sensitive, especially where generational and family trauma lies within us. The square is a tension point in order to try and illuminate some of these darker parts to the light. Of course, we have to bring these darker parts into our consciousness, into our awareness in order to actually heal them. This is likely going to be a time where you're going to be triggered. You might not even be triggered in your external realm, but you definitely are not sitting well with yourself in your headspace and in your heart space. The darker force energies are definitely trying us, testing our boundaries, because of course that's what happens in Cancer's energy. We have to learn to enforce new boundaries, to implement new boundaries in order to protect ourselves, to provide ourselves with a sense of safety and security for us to heal, for us to nurture ourselves instead of constantly being wounded and acting from that wounded energy. The moon is going to sextile Uranus. This is a beautiful energy for a couple of reasons. First of all, a sextile is a positive energy. It's a positive aspect. Uranus is the great awakener. It's sudden shock. It's sudden disruption. It's sudden moments of aha genius that we can't unknow. Because Uranian energy is the great awakener, trying to show us where it is that new perspectives can be had, new perspectives can be formed, where a new path is able to actually be pursued. And because Uranian energy is in Taurus, showing us where new routines are needed in order to protect ourselves, in order to provide ourselves with a safe place to actually heal. In Tauran energy, we're also focused on relationships. We're also focused on money matters. And if we're not feeling safe in our personal relationships and in our financial space, then our whole world is just walking on eggshells. The moon in Cancer, sextiling with Uranus in this way, is giving us an aha moment on what it is that we need to do for ourselves, where it is that we need to kind of boss up and actually see where it is that we're doing ourselves a disservice by not having strong enough boundaries, by putting other people's wants, needs, and desires before ourselves, by constantly talking fear into the dreams that we are having for ourselves, talking ourselves out of making changes. This Uranian energy is going to shock our systems, show us where a new path needs to be pursued, where new elements need to be implemented, in order for us to find a safe place, a stable place, for us to actually feel good about ourselves, about our situation, to bring hope, to bring inspiration back into the mix, and actually give us a little bit of a brighter perspective. We're going to get a little bit of help here. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Saturn, which is the Lord of karma. This is where we emotionally boss up. So the perspective that we were just downloaded with, where we were just rattled in our heart space, where new perspectives and possibilities just got illuminated to us under this Uranian energy, now we're mustering up the courage. The Saturn energy is the Lord of karma. He's showing us where it is that we have to take control over our emotions, over the elements in our lives, to build up a brand new system, a supportive foundation for us to actually operate off of. And the foundation that we're talking about right now is the boundaries that have been tested by many people right now that are realizing that when we put ourselves first, that they don't get to take advantage of us. When we implement boundaries in order to protect ourselves, they don't get the better part of us. This is definitely coming from our personal relationships, from our home and family unit. There is a restructuring that needs to take place in our home and family unit, our personal relationships, because other people are getting the best part of us when we need to be reserving our energy to make ourselves feel like we're operating from a full cup first before we start giving our energy, our power, our attention away to anyone else. So this Saturn energy is going to show us where it is that emotionally we got to get a grip. Emotionally, where it is that new boundaries need to be enforced. Emotionally, where it is that we have been tested, where it is that we've been beaten down, broken down, and where it is that we don't want to do that anymore. The moon is going to trine Jupiter. Jupiter, of course, is about growth, about expansion, about abundance, about the possibilities. And he's in Piscean energy, just putting a huge blast on our intuition, on our spirituality, on our soul contracts, on the new dreams that we're coming up with, really lending us a lot of inspiration in order to actually muster up the courage and bravery to do what needs to be done in order to actually get there. The moon trining with Jupiter is going to put a lot of pressure on us. It turns the volume up. It makes us a little bit dramatic, makes us a little bit extra, but we need that energy in order to bust away from the old attachments that currently have us stuck in a state of paralysis. Now, the good thing is that now we're realizing what it is that we need more of. We need more emotional safety and security in our personal relationships. We need more boundaries being implemented in order for us to actually take care of ourselves. We need more communication, more support, more intuitive insight on how to actually express ourselves fully, on how to stand our ground, and I'm going to say the down part of realizing what it is that we want more of is that the downside to that is that we can get stuck in this present moment, realizing all in which we currently are lacking. Don't set up camp in the lack of mind frame. Don't set up camp in the scarcity mind frame. That's only going to attract more situations and vibrations like that to you. We want to really put all of our energy into trusting our higher self, what it is that we're being inspired to do. Trust the universe. Trust the process. Yes, it doesn't feel good right now. We're in an adjustment period. We are about to be reborn here in a couple of weeks when we enter into Aries season. You have to recognize the life lessons, the soul contracts that are testing your boundaries right now to either meet them in a new source of power by kind of saying, here's my boundary. You either meet me here and we move forward together, or here's my boundary. Don't meet me here and you can take a step out of my life altogether. This is very much where we're at. Many of us have awakened. Many of our family members and personal relationships have not awakened. You cannot bridge that gap. You cannot sit around and put yourself at a disadvantage waiting for the people that you love to get on the same page as you. This is a very hard lesson, a very hard truth, but Jupiter, who's trying to show us the beautiful, beautiful outcome, the possibilities of the future, when we align with our truest power and honor ourselves, what it is that we can be living. And on the same token, put a magnifying glass on the elements of our lives that we're currently not happy with, that we're currently overwhelmed with, that we're currently being tested with, that we do not want to stay in. The moon is going to bump into both Mercury and Saturn in not the nicest ways. This is going to really cluster F our thoughts. This is going to put a lot of pressure on our heart space, on our head space. There's a lot of confusion. We had this moment of empowerment. We had this visual of what it is that we were drawn to actually pursue. We had this, moment of just being in alignment with our higher selves. And of course, now Mercury, the lower level intellect, is trying to rationalize why this is impossible. Mercury is not an evildoer, however, relies on our current circumstances and our physical reality to basically make sense of what's going on. And again, like I've been talking about, we're at a very interesting point in the calendar where we have to take a leap of faith. We know in our gut, in our soul, in our heart that things are going to change, that we're on the cusp, on the precipice of a huge transformation. But our current circumstances are not suggesting that. And because of that, things can become very overwhelming to the point that we want to escape, to the point that we want to numb. We're in Pisces season, the escape artist of the zodiac, where addictive personalities and throwing ourselves into numbing, coping mechanisms are very high on the list. That's why we have to have a lot of caution. This is definitely going to open our mental plane up and our heart space up to talking fear into our plans, to bringing up negative Nancy, to start really kind of moving down into the darkness, to really see what it is that the ugliness, the darkest parts of ourselves, what it is that's coming up for us that's trying to keep us paralyzed in a state of non-evolvement. We do get a little bit of help though. We're wrapping the day up with the moon trining the sun. This is a beautiful energy. This is let's pause, let's stand in the moment. Let's see where our heart is attached to the old, where our soul is pushing for the new, where our old memories, our old negative egoic self is trying to keep us stuck in the past, and where our higher self, our intuition, our dreams, our vision are trying to pull us out of the darkness, out of the funk of our past, and show us that the brand new possibilities are actually attainable, that they can actually manifest. Now, this is a beautiful blending of energies because we realize in this moment where it is that we got to create a little bit of distance from the old, from our memories, from our heart space, from romanticizing the past, from all of that we're coming from, and where it is that we have to take one step forward in our emotions and our head space to align with the dreams, to align with the vision, to align with our gut reaction and our intuition that is calling us to make a change, to make a shift, to start looking forward instead of constantly looking to the past.